Hey guys, this is Bryan, and welcome to Full the Darkness. This is episode number 1. Today's story is called Elias. When I was a little kid, I used to love to play in my grandma's basement while my parents and my grandparents did boring adult things upstairs. To me, the basement was always scary, but it was also kind of fun. For starters, it was huge. It had this big open living area, 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a bar against the back wall. Like a real bar, with a marble counter, bar stools, and a mirror that covered the entire wall behind it. My grandpa had built this all himself, and it made the basement look like something out of a silent film, something of a completely different era. Which, I guess it was. In a way, everything looked wrong. For as big as it was, the basement only had a single slit of a window in the main living area that led up to the backyard, so it was always dark down there, even during the daytime. The lights were old and yellow and made everything seem like it had one of those grainy sepia filters on it. The decorations were all Native American charms and relics. Every photo on the wall was black and white, and it haunted me knowing that all the faces watching over me were now dead. And I was being watched. Whenever I was down there, I often felt like I had eyes on me, not by the pictures, but by one person in particular. Don't ask me how or why I knew it was one person, or that it was a male, but I did. I just did. I also knew that it, or I guess he, liked to follow me around and watch me. I could never bring myself to look back at him, though, or to look into that giant mirror behind my grandpa's bar, because I just somehow knew that to do so, I might see something lurking over my shoulder, something I very much didn't want to see. Weirdest, though, was that he didn't stay in the same room. Sometimes I sensed him in the room with me, sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I felt the heat of his glance, sometimes I didn't. It wasn't consistent. It was like he was gliding from room to room, conducting his own business, but sometimes he'd stop to see what I was doing, to check in on me, watch me before he went back to doing whatever it was he was doing. There was one place I could always sense him, though, and that was the bathroom. I didn't go in there much, as there wasn't a whole lot beside a rusty old toilet, a really old bathtub, and a few generic bath supplies from companies that I figured went out of business a long time ago. Plus, it was very small and narrow. It felt claustrophobic to be in there. Well, one year I was really into pirates. I had a big Lego pirate ship, and I took it with me when we all went to my grandparents' house. Once there, I invariably went downstairs to play. This time I didn't feel the presence that watched over me. Everything felt pretty normal. So I wandered into the bathroom and started filling the tub up with water. When it got high enough, I put in my pirate ship and began to splash it around. But I wasn't having fun like I should have been. Something seemed wrong. That's when I felt the presence. This time I didn't just feel like I was being watched. I felt like someone was right behind me, standing directly over me. And it felt angry, like this seething cloud of hatred hovering just above me, wanting to do me harm. I knew deep in my gut that this was it. This was the moment I was going to die. I was petrified, but somehow I managed to rip my toy ship out of the tub and run out of the bathroom. Presence was still on me like a heat, right on my back, even as I dashed up the stairs, but as soon as I threw open the screen door and burst into the backyard, it was gone. It was just me, and a small backyard, and a sunny afternoon. I stayed out in that backyard until my parents finally came to get me, and I never told them about the instance in the bathroom. I figured they wouldn't believe me anyway. After that, I never played down in the basement ever again. I just stayed near my parents on the living room sofa, and even so, I'd occasionally get a chill knowing that I was directly above that bathroom. It wasn't until I turned 15 that I had the courage to venture down there again. I walked around each room, minus the bathroom, looked at a few things on my grandpa's bar, and then quickly shot up the stairs. I only mildly felt watched this time, like someone was there, but he didn't care that I was there. And sure enough, as I grew older, I stopped feeling it altogether. To this day, I can still go down there and feel absolutely nothing. Even the bathroom. It's old-timey and run down, sure, but other than that it just feels like a basement with a really small, unused bathroom. I had always chalked that up to just being a kid, to just being afraid of dark, old, scary places and then growing out of it. But this whole thing chills me to the bone for 2 reasons. First, my mom is one of 8 kids, and it wasn't until a few years back that my mom and I were talking and laughing about my grandparents' house, and I mentioned that when I was a little kid, I always felt like I was being watched and it scared me. My mother stopped laughing and asked, "Wait, you felt that too?" It turns out that as children, she and all my aunts and uncles always felt like they were being followed and being watched in that basement, and that they especially felt it in the bathroom. In fact, they often went in pairs to be safe, something they slowly grew out of once they were no longer silly, superstitious children. Second, we found out when my grandma died that my mom actually wasn't one of 8. She was one of 9. My grandma's firstborn was a boy named Elias, and when he was 3 years old, my grandma left him unattended for only a moment and he drowned in the bathtub. She never spoke of it to anyone, I assume because she felt guilty, perhaps even negligent, but now I'm not so sure that she was to blame. Whenever I go into that basement, I feel fine. So do my parents, my aunts and uncles, my cousin even. But my cousin's 5-year-old son, Dennis, he's not allowed in the basement anymore. Not since he came running upstairs in tears and told us all about the man with the scratchy voice that wanted to give him a bath.